welcome to this video about Generator4 and its geometry features. We will be focusing on the middle ply generation based on a volume geometry. Generator has a dedicated command to solve this common task when building your finite element model. It can be found under the General Commands group, under Create, Geometry, Face, and Middle Ply, or at the Geometry Dedicated Commands group here, under Face, New, and Middle Ply. Once the command is called, if we check the current command area, we will see all related parameters and options available. In order to create the middle geometry of any model, Generator has to distinguish which faces belong to each of its characteristic sides. So, the front side, the rear side, and the boundary side between both of them. Optionally, Generator will also evaluate transitioning areas, which will be referred as rounded edges. Based on the sides assignment, there are three different methods to run this command. The manual one, where the user directly defines the different sides. The automatic one, where Generator4 internally evaluates the model and directly creates the reply. And the interactive one, where Generator4 evaluates the model and shows the detected sides before creating the middle plane. This way, the user can check them and reassign them if necessary. So, we will see the first two methods with a small example, and then learn how to take the most of the command with the third method in a bit more complicated model of a casting part. The first method is the manual one. We can use it for small examples where we want to be sure about the faces taken as reference for the middle plane. Once the method is selected at the drop-down here, we can keep on adjusting the parameters to the current model needs. For example, there is one option called maximum thickness here. It defines the maximum distance allowed between the front and the rear sides to take into account during the command. We can always check this value using the command check geometry thickness. It is available at the check command group under info geometry thickness. By clicking at different points of the model, we get the measured thickness. In this case, it is a constant value of 4 mm. Once we leave the command, Generator asks if we want to use the maximum measure value as a parameter for the middle face creation. So we can accept it and then have this parameter directly defined once we go back to the middle ply command. Another interesting option is the property field up here, which we can use to specify the property of the new geometry to be created. One can directly type in one ID or select a pre-existing property from the list nearby. So, once the parameters are defined, we can select the front, rear, and boundary faces from our model. For a faster selection, we can use the angle selection method. I will select this side as the front one that will act as a reference for the middle plane creation. So just left-click at the desired faces and confirm with the right mouse once we are satisfied with the selection. Now the rear side. Left-click to select and confirm with right-click. And the boundary side. Left-click and we have all the boundaries selected. We can see how the faces are marked with different colors. Magenta for the front side, green for the rear side, and red for the boundary. Once the selection is done, we can confirm again with a right mouse click, and the middle plane will be generated. We can see the created middle plane by isolating the view of the assigned property. So, at the data browser, we pick the property number 1 and click on Show Only. The second way to get the middle plane of a volume model is to directly use the automatic mode here. With this mode, we will just select the model. Generator will evaluate it for us and deliver the middle plane. But before running the command, we will check one interesting option. If we want to control the created geometry more easily, we can activate this option here, Create Reference Groups. If activated, two groups will be created when using the command, one with the original volume and another one with the created middle plane faces. So now we can select the complete model, just like this, and run the command after confirming the selection with right mouse. Thanks to the created groups, we are able to handle their view status and style separately in a comfy way to visualize and check the results. We can do it accessing the groups list at the data browser. For example, it's quite handy to set the outer volume in a boundary style while keeping the middle plane visualized as a solid. This way, we can check if the middle plane was created correctly. Another interesting option is this one here, Delete Selected Geometry. This can be used to directly delete the volume geometry once we don't need it anymore. The middle plane keeps the information about the volume thickness, so the user can delete the volume now and keep on working with just the middle plane geometry. The last way to use this command is the interactive way. In this case, Generator will evaluate the geometry internally and show the user the assigned front, rear, and boundary side before creating the middle plane. That way, the user is able to correct the detected sides if needed. Because of that, this method is especially interesting for complex geometries with ribs and side changes, such as the little example we can see now on the screen. If we check this example closely, we can see that it contains little rounded edges when transitioning from the front side to the rear side of the part. For example, this face is here. To better evaluate this type of geometries, it is recommended to activate the Rounded Edge Radius option and define the maximum radius to be considered as one of such rounded transitions. For these examples, we will be using 5 mm. With this option activated, we can now select the complete geometry and let Generator evaluate it. Once it is done, Generator shows us different colors for the different assigned faces. Magenta for the front side, green for the rear side, red for the boundaries, and blue for this rounded edge radius. So this example looks pretty well assigned, unless for this little face here. This one could be reassigned. To change it, just click on it and confirm, and select the desired side from the pop-up list, in this case, rounded edge. Once all the faces are correctly defined, we can confirm with right mouse click, and the middle plane geometry will be created by Generator. Now we can use the created groups to check the geometry. If we are satisfied with the results, we can also erase the volume geometry and keep on working with just the middle faces in order to mesh them. So that was all for the day. Hope you enjoyed. Please check our channel for new videos with more information. Cheers!